We have a very interesting panel. We have Prateek and Adarsh, both from our customer engineering team, and they have helped lots of QA and developer teams get onboarded with BrowserStack, and they have helped them implement their testing strategies both for web apps as well as mobile apps. And for the agenda for today, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, Adarsh will walk us through the end-to-end testing platform, a very quick overview. And then we'll take up a few questions which were shared during the registration phase, and then we'll jump into the live Q&A. All right, so Adarsh, over to you.
Sure. So hello, welcome everyone. I will be giving you a brief overview of what BrowserStack offers as a platform. So we are not limited to just an infrastructure like we just don't provide infrastructure. You can use BrowserStack and its product. So for like end-to-end testing, like from the starting of your testing phase to the end of it. So yeah, like in order to start with your planning phase, we provide you this product called as test case management that you can see on the screen. So test case management, what you can do using this platform is you can create your test cases, describe your test cases, provide the steps, manage your manual as well as automation test cases. You can see your automation coverage, you can see your manual testing coverage, all these statistics on a single platform. And so yeah, you can create the test cases and manage test runs on test case management. Once the test cases are created, you can now move on to creating the automation, like executing those test cases. So for that, like you can use various different automation frameworks, or you can execute the test manually. But in case you don't want to execute the test cases manually, you can use the low code no code platform where you can manually execute the test cases, record those, and execute the test cases as many times as possible, as many times as you want. So for that, you can use the low code no code platform. And so once you have created the test cases, like either recorded it using low code no code or created the tests using automation frameworks, you can move on to the execution phase where we provide you multiple different products, starting with live and app live. Live and app live are for manual testing of your web and mobile applications, where you can select any of the device browser combinations that you want on BrowserStack and execute your test on real devices. Same with automate and app automate. If you have any automation test scripts, like for your web automation or app automation, you can use this platform and you utilize the BrowserStack devices to execute your functional test. Coming on to the visual test part, for visual testing, for trying, like if you want to try and find out the visual bugs into your website and mobile application, we have the platforms called as Percy and App Percy. Apart from this, we have introduced accessibility testing platform. So based on the government guidelines or WCAG guidelines, if you want to see if your website or your mobile application is compliant with the WCAG guidelines, you can use this platform, get the statistics, and make changes to your application. We'll soon be releasing a solution for API testing as well. And apart from that, moving on to the reporting part of it. So we give you test insights. Like you can just see all the statistics of your test. And then we provide you an option of test observability as well. This platform gives you every kind of reporting that you want. You get the number of leaky tests, the number of tests that are constantly passing, failing, all these statistics, the number of errors across various different tests. So you can utilize test observability for that. And the best part is all these products that we just discussed, you can integrate it using a single package called as BrowserStack SDK. And it is really simple to configure. There is a single file where you can just simply mention all the details, and you will be able to integrate test case management, accessibility, functional testing, visual testing, as well as the reporting part using that single file itself. Yeah, so over to you, Varun.
Thank you, Adarsh, for this quick brief of BrowserStack's end-to-end testing platform, which allows you from planning to creation to execution and verification, all of them supremely integrated. All right, let's get into the questions. So first of all, thank you so much for sharing your questions via registrations. So we will be first spending some time to understand answer those questions which were asked in the Q&A, during the registration, and then we will take up the live Q&A. So first question towards you, Prateek. A lot of questions have come in when people are just starting out with BrowserStack. They are interested if there are any ways or guidelines to do manual testing. How should they get started with manual testing, whether it's for web or app?
So manual testing with BrowserStack is pretty simple. You just need to have your particular web application or the mobile application on your end, and then you can jump to the live.browserstack.com. Over here, you can see the different Mac OS versions, the different Windows versions with the different browser version, any of the OS or browser combination that you would like to test on. You can select any of them and start your particular testing on the same. Let's suppose for the demonstration purpose, we would be starting with an Android device. You can select any browser on the specific Android device. And here you get a dedicated device assigned to you from the BrowserStack data center in a fresh pristine stage. Let's this device get started. Once this device gets started, you can open any specific URL or any URL that you would like to test of your particular organization. Let's suppose we go to bstackdemo.com. So we can jump onto this URL and then you can perform all your specific actions in the workflow, how you would be performing on your normal handheld device. You can scroll this up, or you can swipe it down, or you can put add to cart and put it to the checkout. And same the workflow would be done over here. You can select the particular username and access key, and all of this would be performed. Apart from the basic use cases and the workflow, we also have the different features to simulate the different environment. Let's suppose you want to check like how your application behaves when it is open to the different location. So you can set your specific GPS location, the IP location, all of this can be simulated. If you have some QR code scanning specific use cases, then you can do the same using the file upload. Let's suppose you want to check how your web application behaves when it comes under different network condition. You can simulate the same. So all of these different features are being provided inside our side doc. Now this was for the web application. Now with same goes for the mobile application as well. You can jump to the App Live, which is another product for manual testing for the mobile applications. Here you can test your iOS apps, Android apps, native and hybrid, all sort of apps. You just have to, so there are different ways to upload your particular application. Extra step added apart from the web application, web manual testing. One is either you can directly upload from here, or you can directly download from the Play Store, App Store, or TestFlight and App Center. For the demonstration purpose, I have these two apps already uploaded. I would start with this. You can same select any of the specific device and OS combination. And on this, now again, you get a fresh device in a fresh pristine stage dedicated to you from our data center. And you can see here you get the logs and all the device getting started. And here also you get all the similar features as you were getting in the web. We can change the location, simulate the location, simulate the network conditions. Also, we can report the bugs to the Jira and all their specific features. That's it. Yes.
Can you, just for our audience, also talk about some of the developer tools that we provide for manual testing?
Yes, for the dev tools, as you can see, here we have the logcat, which shows you all the kinds of logs. So this is a log specific to your application. If you want to all the device logs, you can select the all device logs from here. You can also filter out to the error, warning, or verbose if you want all of the logs over here. You can also inspect your specific application components of the your application, and then you can also have the network tab where you can enable the network settings. Let me switch to the network tab. I think there is some issue on my end. You can switch to the network tab and then you can enable the network settings. Post that all of the network requests that your application has been making, all would be captured. You can download the same inside your har file and it goes the same. Here we go. So this is the network tab. You can enable all the traffic. And once you save the configuration, it would restart this specific application and then capture all the network requests made by your specific application in this scenario. So as you can see here, all of the network requests would get captured. So that's it, Varun.
Thanks a lot for that, Prateek. So switching gears to something which others you talked about while briefing the overall view is people who are just starting out with automation, right? How does BrowserStack as a platform support automation? Do we have any low-code, no-code methodologies? And if so, how do we use that?
So yeah, with low code no code platform. So basically, BrowserStack, like we have released our own low code no code platform where you can simply provide the URL that you want to test and then record a test and execute it as many times as you want across like across any number of instances. What I can do is I can just show you an example of it. Just give me a second, sharing my screen. Yeah. So over here, first of all, yeah, like this is the low code no code platform. Like this is just an overview of it. Yeah. So over here, the process is simple. Like you just land onto the page. You just need to download the desktop application, the low code no code desktop application by BrowserStack. You just provide your URL, click on start recording. It will open Chrome on your device, and you can just perform all the steps that you want to perform. And after that, it will record each and every step that you are performing, and it will save that particular test. After that, it's up to you. You can create test suites using the tests that you have created. You can run those test suites as many times as you want. BrowserStack will run those tests on its own infrastructure. You will get a video, you will get a text log section where you will be able to see all the tests that you have executed. So going on to the desktop application, this is the one that I was talking about. I have installed this. If I just click on start recording, I have provided this URL browserstack.com. So when it will open Chrome, it will open browserstack.com into Chrome. While it is rendering, I can just show you some examples of tests that have already been executed. If I click on build, this is this is where you can see the stats, or you can see see it in the application as well. I can open any of the tests. Inside this build, this is a single test that has been executed. If I click on it, as I mentioned, you will be able to see the complete video of execution. So let it get rendered. Yeah. So now you can see the complete video of each and every step getting executed. These are all the steps that you recorded. You can see if any step is passing or failing, where a particular step is failing. You can see that as well. So, okay, while this is getting rendered, so we can, yeah, again, once you will be recording test, you will be seeing that test being listed over here in this particular section. You can directly run the test from here, or you can create test suites using your test cases. Just give me a second. So if you record any test that will be listed over here, you can just go under the test suite section. You can create a new test suite. Let me create test suite 2, 3, 4, and yeah, you can select a list of test cases that you want to run under this test suite and schedule the test runs. So the build section that we saw, the test execution part, you can schedule it based on whenever you want to do it. Or again, you can just skip that particular part and manually click on run. That's also an option that we provide. So yeah, now this has been initiated. What I can do is I can just open. Yeah, as you can see, I perform the functions. It is recording each and every step that I'm performing. So yeah, it is moving on to basically now I have recorded the steps. I click on save recording. I will give it a name, test 118. Now the test has been recorded, and what will happen is the moment I save it, it will automatically reload the browser, re-execute the steps that I just performed. So the first thing I did was I hovered over that particular section. I clicked onto certain buttons. It will automatically do it. Now it has, I can just simply, just give me a second. So now the test has been done. Again, as I said, I can utilize this particular test case to create test suites and execute builds using that. So yeah, this is about how you can use the low-code, no-code platform by BrowserStack and get the statistics as well.
Got it. Got it. Prateek, over to you. I think now once we have done with creation of our code, how does one get started with the test automation itself, like be it for web or app?
So starting with the automation part, so first step comes over here is we should have our scripts on our end. Either we can write it manually or we can have it recorded using any record and playback tool. As others showed it recently, your BrowserStack has our own low-code automation tool for the web applications, which you can use. For the mobile application as well, we have the integration with the different record and playback tools like Catalan, etc. So all that can be used for the record and playback purpose. And the other way is you can manually write your specific script. If you are writing a script, below are the different particular frameworks that BrowserStack supports on your end, like Selenium, Cypress, Playwright, Puppeteer, and all this. For the mobile as well, we have the APM, Expresso, or Algre, XUI test. All of these are supported on the BrowserStack. Let's suppose you are starting with the Selenium. Once you go over here, you can see these are different languages and framework for which we have the thorough documentation on our end. For let's suppose you are starting with the Java, as others previously explained, we have the SDK on our end, which is the plug and play tool. You can easily, using the SDK, you can integrate your test on the browser stack and run it. It's pretty simple and straightforward. Just you have to trigger the one command, create a BrowserStack.yml file, and put all of your capability inside the specific YML file with your specific username and access key and the particular browser OS version on which you would like to run your or specific test. That's it. Your integration is done. Now you can trigger your test and your test would be running on the browser stack. Let me show you a sample demo for the same. So this is the sample setup on my end, which I have done for the demonstration purpose. This is my browserstack.yml file. Here you can see my specific credentials, and here you can see the different browsers and OS version configured to run the specific test. This is the test where I am navigating to vstackdemo.com and performing some of the steps. Now, as it is configured my YML file, now I can trigger this specific test. As soon as I would trigger this test, now we can jump to the dashboard. So this is our Automate dashboard. Here you can see above your specific username and access key. Here for my account, I have the subscription of the 10 parallels over here and 10 of the queue. Let's suppose you run your 20 tests at a time. So 10 tests would be running in parallel and rest would be going in the queue. Now the test which I have triggered, you are seeing 3 of the tests are been running in parallel because I have ran a single test on 3 different browser OS combinations. And here on the left hand side, you can see all the builds that you have executed. And this is my current running build, which I have just triggered from my file. So test has ran and it has completed. As soon as you would click over here, you would be seeing all your specific build details, a unique build ID, a public URL of this specific build if you want to share with any of your teammates. You can download the report from here. And if you go below are the sessions that you can see or that you have ran. You can open any of the sessions. Once you click the same, you have the session details on which browser OS combination you have ran, a public link for the same. If you want to report a bug, you can direct report a bug to the Jira or some of the bug reporting tool, which we have the integration for directly on the browser stack. Now we also give you the video logs where you can see at what particular timestamp what is been happening in each of the steps, as with the text logs as well. Now this particular test script has been executed at the 4th second. You can just click on it. It would be redirecting in the video at the same point of time. And this is how you can do the debugging as well in the easily. Yeah, if you enable the network logs capability, all the network requests would also get captured, which you can see over here. And with the same, you would be getting the console logs, Selenium logs, and the terminal logs as well. So that's is the pretty easy way how you can run your particular automation suite on the browser stack.
Got it. So, Pratik, a follow-up. I think we have a question from Jonathan, where I think he's asking that, is there a way to run tests using Opera on Automate? Because I think we don't have the capabilities currently. Can you speak to that a bit?
So Opera is currently not supported on the browser stack. Surely we would take this as a product feedback and we would be evaluating this in our next quarter roadmap.
Got it. I hope that helps answer Jonathan. Cool. Moving on to some of the other questions that came in during our registration phase. So another follow-up, I think, on the automation itself, Pratik, is how can someone overcome the challenge of 2FA during test automation?
So for the 2FA, with my experience, what I have seen with the different customers, some of the customers have their test APK where the 2FA is skipped out, or they have the dummy credentials where with the dummy credentials, there is a fixed OTP that every time they put on and they bypass the particular 2FA. Or else they use some of the services that services provide the OTP on the APIs. So as soon as they log into with their username and credentials, they make the request to the API, capture the particular OTP and put it inside their test script and pass it on in the 2FA.
Got it. Got it. All right. So, over to you, Adarsh. Can you talk a bit if somebody wants to parallelly test and gain insights across all the devices that are part of their test automation script? How can BrowserStack help there?
Yeah, so we saw, right, Pratik showed when automation tests are executed onto BrowserStack, we give you logs like video logs, we give you text logs, network logs, those kind of logs. But apart from that, to gain insights from those log itself, we have this platform called as Test Observability. What you can do is you can just simply go onto the platform and you will be able to gather multiple different insights across multiple different sections of it. I can just share my screen and I just show you an example of it. So yeah. So over here, like these are the scenarios that Pratik talked about, like the video logs, the text logs, the Selenium logs, and APM logs. So coming on to the coming on to the observability platform. So this simply, like if you are executing tests on BrowserStack, you like it will get you the video logs. It will take those logs and gain insights from that. If you are not using the BrowserStack platform, still we have APIs. You can use those and upload your reports and get insights over here. So if I just like select any particular project, let me select a project. So over here, I have selected this particular project. Inside this, these are all the builds that I've executed. I just click on any one of it. I will be able to see the build getting executed, the number of tests that have passed or failed, what has been the history of this particular build, the number of tests that have been passing or failing over a period of time, the number of flaky tests, like if a test is showing inconsistent behavior across multiple different executions, we will simply flag that and give you list them out over here. If there are certain test cases that are still under development, we give you an option of muting those tests so that you don't get false statistics about those tests. So you can just mute those tests, and once you think a test is stable enough, you can unmute them. If there are certain tests that are constantly failing, we simply mention that as well. If there is a test that was constantly passing but now is failing, we'll mark that as well. This is an important part where we, like over here, as you can see, although there are multiple different failures, 90% of failures are caused by 3 unique errors. So we just compile all those errors and list them out over here. You can just click on the error and see like what all tests are getting affected by this. So if you just fix this particular error in your test suite, this will resolve issues across 8 different test cases, that kind of thing. If I just move on to the test section, you will be able to see all the tests that have been executed. There are multiple different filters that you can apply, flaky tests, non-flaky tests, tests that are constantly failing, those kind of things. If I just click on it, I will be able to see the complete test history. Like I will be able to see how it has been performing over a period of time, the video logs, the text logs, the network logs. If you think that if you want to raise a bug directly from here, you can do that. You can raise a bug onto Jira directly from here. So that's about on a build level. Apart from that, we give you this section where you can see the test health, like what's the the failure rate of your test, the number of tests that are passing, failing, the percentage of failure, if a test is constantly passing or failing, those kind of statistics. Unique errors on a project level, like all the builds that are over here, you will be able to see the statistics of all the errors that are all the unique errors that are causing most of the tests to fail. So, and then again, the testing trend section, like based on the kind of test that you're performing, how has been the flakiness over a period of time, you can just see that as well. The number of the recent tests, the stability of your specific build, you can just analyze that, how your tests have been performing, the amount of time that they're taking, how many new failures you are seeing over a period of time, what kind of issues that you are constantly seeing, these kind of statistics. So you can simply utilize this particular platform to gain all kinds of insights. And the dashboard is customizable. Like we provide you multiple different settings that you can change. So yeah, this was about test observability. And again, this also comes with a premium plan. Like whenever you are executing test onto Automate, you already get like you just need to add the test observability as true in your YML file, and you will get all these statistics directly.
Correct. So I think one of the questions on test observability which came in is it similar to exploratory testing? Uh,
So yeah, like test observability, as we saw, it is specific to like providing insights, providing reports from your existing test cases. So based on whether they are passing, failing, what kind of performance issues that they are mentioning, you will be able to gain insights using the test observability platform.
got it. Okay. Okay. Cool. That's helpful. moving on, I think there's another question for you, Adarsh. How does one plan, their tests if they have to, especially if it's an agile setup? Can you share some best practices on management of tests in the agile setup? Does BrowserStack support? Yeah.
Yeah, so again, like for this, for managing your test cases, as we initially discussed, we have this platform called as test management, where you can create, manage, and execute, manage your test runs, create test cases. Coming on to the best practices part, like we have this entire blog which simply explains everything regarding test management, like why is it important, what are the statistics between organizations that are using test management and between organizations that aren't. So you can just like what I will be doing is I can just simply share this particular URL in the chat and you can have a look at it. Over here, we have mentioned all the best practices as well. Just a second. Yeah. Over here, we have mentioned the best practices of test management as well. Coming on to some critical things like when you are creating test cases, you should be providing all the details about a particular test case. You should be mentioning each and every precondition. Let's say before executing a test, you want a user to be logged in. You want the user to have admin access. These kind of details should be mentioned in your test case. Your test cases should not be bulky. It should not consist of multiple different workflows in a single test case, because let's say you have 5 different workflows inside a single test case. It means that even if one of the test case fails, your entire test case will be marked as failed. That's those kind of things. So again, as I mentioned, I will be sharing this link into the chat. You can just have a look at it. So for this, like for managing the test cases, we have this platform, test management. The process is really simple, quite self-explanatory platform. You can just create a project here. Check 1 second. So once we create a project over here, you will be taken to this particular page. You can come onto this page and create a test case. So yeah, this is what we talked about, like providing a title that explains the scenario, providing a description of like why you are executing this test case, what are required in this case, preconditions, like what are the scenarios that should be before executing this particular test case, and then mentioning all the steps that are required and the corresponding expected result, like logging in. The user should log in. You can mention the particular username and password and mention the expected result that the user should log in or log out, and the login should pass or fail, those kind of scenarios. So yeah, you should make sure that you are providing proper details over here. You should make sure that you are tagging the correct people accordingly, and then you are providing the correct priority to the particular test case. And yeah, this is an interesting thing. You can the test case tagging part, this can be really useful. So tag something like basically based on what kind of test case it is, you can just provide tags to your test case. What happens is for now, like it is just a like single test case. It is just a single test case, but let's say you are keep on adding more and more test cases, it will become really difficult for you to find the correct test case. So let's say if it is a login test, so you can just provide a login tag so that later on you are able to find it really easily. So yeah, these are a few best practices, and this is a test management platform by BrowserStack that you can utilize.
Awesome. So another question that comes for others for you is that is there an easier way to change the website URL that somebody wants to test live versus manually testing it each time?
Yeah, okay. Like in case of live, again, we provide this option of creating bookmarks. You can create up to 4 bookmarks at once. And I can just show you that. Just give me a second. Yeah, we have a documentation. The process is really simple. You just land onto the page. I can just open any session. I can just land onto the page, create bookmarks. So what will happen is next time you'll get an option of copying bookmarks. So over here, I've already created 1 bookmark. I can just create temp2. And I can just provide a URL over here. So what will happen is, okay, something like that. So you can just create a URL, and what will happen is you can simply copy it and paste it next time. So yeah, again, it will be available for you. If I just paste this one, I just don't know what it will give. Okay, so basically, yeah, you can create multiple different bookmarks and up to 4 bookmarks, and you can just go into the session, copy it and paste it, and you will be able to execute the test. Yeah.
All right, so that kind of in some way answers Stefan's question, which was why can I save only 4 URL bookmarks in the website testing dashboard? So is that the upper limit that we provide?
Yeah, for now, we give you an option of bookmarking up to 4 URLs.
Got it. Got it. Stefan, if you have a use case which is for more than four, I think we'll be more than happy to have a separate conversation on those lines. Awesome. Okay, moving ahead, I think we have just a couple more which came in. So, Adarsh, Prateek, if you can help me understand how can someone get IP whitelisted their projects without if they don't have the enterprise subscription? What's the way to do that?
So if you have a particular web application or any application which is IP restricted and you want to run the test on the browser stack without the enterprise going to the enterprise subscription, then we have a feature called as BrowserStack local testing. So let me share my screen to explain you. So this is a particular how our BrowserStack local works. We have the BrowserStack binary situated on your machine. Once that is situated on your machine, which is known as BrowserStack local, then whatever network request that you make, once you have get a remote machine assigned, a secure socket tunnel gets created from the remote machine to the BrowserStack local, and all the network requests get transferred via your machine. So your machine has the access of the specific website, then the same website would be accessible on the BrowserStack remote device as well, and you can do the testing as well on the same. So let me show you a sample by running on this. So this is a local host particular website. The same could be the IP restricted goes with the IP restricted website as well. A sample website for this. Now I would be just making running a test on this. So this is the sample test, just triggering this on the browser stack. That's it. So let me run. And one more that we have to do changes. If you are using the SDK, you need not to install the BrowserStack binary, which was the legacy way to do it. You just have to enable the BrowserStack local equals to true, and everything else would be handled by the SDK on itself. So let's trigger the particular local test now. Now, as soon as we trigger the test, let's go to the dashboard. It would be triggered on the dashboard in couple of seconds. So it takes couple of seconds to for your test that is triggered over here to get to the browse stack. As you can see, the running queue is has been shown over here. This is the build that we triggered just now. As soon as you click over here, you can see these are the three tests running on. Let's open the test which just ran, and we can verify with the particular URL. Like this was the URL that opened our localhost website. And this was the this is our localhost website, and same you can test your any of the IP restricted or any website which is only accessible through your specific machine and is been restricted for the anyone else.
Got it. So, I think there was a question that Stefan had asked in terms of he sees a login pop-up to reach their test servers from external, and is it possible for them to send their username and password in the URL for web testing? I think can this also be solved by local?
So I think Stefan has asked in some different scenario, like they want to pass their username and password inside the URL itself. Surely this can be done, and this need to be configured by the on the developer end. And the same once that is configured on their developer end with the same URL, it could be run on the BrowserStack as well.
So Prateek, or would you like to talk about what is accessibility testing and how does BrowserStack support accessibility testing?
Yes, sure. So accessibility testing is something, let's suppose in accessibility testing, we check like how our application is accessible to the visually impaired people or different types of physical disability people. So there is a guideline, WCAG guidelines, which for has all the rules and regulation, like what should be the color contrast and all the different things for each of the component. So we have the accessibility testing on our end as well, and this is our accessibility testing dashboard. So for the accessibility testing, you can open any of the URL. Let's suppose we would be opening our bstackdemo.com, And let's open this URL. You need to have our accessibility plugin on your end. This is the BrowserStack accessibility plugin. Once you have installed this Chrome extension on your end, then you can inspect any of your specific website. You can move on to accessibility toolkit. Now here you would be getting the different options for the same. Either you can run a workflow scanner, you can have the screen reader functionality. Like if you are in the screen reader functionality, you would be hovering to the different elements and it would be reading out loud for the visually impaired peoples. And for the workflow scanner, you can click on the full page scan. Now it would be scanning the complete web page and it would be showing you the number of accessibility issues. So according to the WCAG 2.1 guidelines, there are 58 issues inside this particular web page. Now, once the scan has been completed, you can stop the particular scan and then you can save this specific report. Once you save it, you get this report on the BrowserStack accessibility dashboard. So let's go to the report dashboard. As soon as you would come over here, let me refresh this. This is our report dashboard. So let's just get loaded. So this was for the manual. The same could be done for the automate as well. You can put the specific URLs. The web scan would be done on a specific interval. Same could be done. So this was just we have ran 1 minute ago. As soon as you would click over here, you can see the different number of issues. Out of the 58 issues, 56 are the serious one is the critical, and other are the moderate. You can see the different components which are being affected due to these issues. And you can the issues as well are the categorized over here. As you can see, the 54 of the issues are the color issues over here. As so, and the number of pages that you have visited would be categorized in that manner as well. As soon as you would be clicking at any of the specific component, it would be taking you to the specific issue of the particular component, which specific guideline this particular component is not been following, and the selector of the same component as well. That's how you can check your particular accessibility testing of your website and verify it on the BrowserStack.
Or